Democrat.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order, Commissioners. You need your meeting.
Call the council meeting to order.
Okay. Would everybody please stand? We'll say a pledge, have a prayer. Tony, please pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Todd, would you say a
Yes.
prayer?
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you today, thanking you for the many blessings you bestowed upon us, and knowing that your will shall be done. Lord God, bless those who serve us. In his precious name we pray. Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Todd's made a motion. Have a second?
Second.
Tony, second. Public comments. Lucy Brenton, she here?
Yep,
Right on front row.
there we go. I'm always ready. Timekeeping? Yes. I would ask before you start my time to let folks know that I talked with Randy Lee this morning. His wife is in the hospital, so he can't come and do his 3 minutes. He sent me a written statement to read into the record. May I take my 3 minutes and then take Randy's as well?
That's fine.
All right. And one thing that our citizens have asked me to ask all of you is to get your microphones right in front of your faces, because we have a lot of people who, are working right now, and the working public is not able to see these meetings. So they really need to concentrate on having our microphones in front of us. So before I get started and the timer starts, could we all make sure that our microphones are going to pick this up for the listeners at home? All right, we got that set. Looks like Kyra and April, if you folks want to talk, it doesn't look like it's going to be picked up. Tony? All right. I think we're sitting pretty good. Okay, April, have you got the timer ready? All right, here we go. Air, water. Those are the two most important things that a human body needs, air and water. And yet here we sit in a town without clean water. We are literally poisoning the citizens every time they open up their tap. And I'd like to remind you all that your skin is the largest organ on your body. And all of those chemicals, when you take your shower, when you take your bath, when you put your precious babies in a bathtub, what's happening? They're getting poisoned by the water. Now, politicians should have a couple of things. Stepping up into the role of a politician and putting yourself out as a public servant means that there should be radical honesty, complete transparency, and should be held to a higher standard. Our egos have to be put aside for the Our egos have to be put aside for the good of the citizens and taxpayers, and certainly no retaliation. But I've been reading Facebook recently, and what I've seen is a lot of retaliation on this water issue. Specifically with the Salem water fiasco, the mayor of Salem claimed that the water was okay, and then Randy Lee called the next day to the exact water companies that the mayor claimed was having the exact same issues that we are having here in Salem. And Randy shared with me that during those conversations, the other water company said that they were not having these problems. And so now we're sitting here at August 13th, where Randy got a letter saying that his position was going to be eliminated in 10 days by the 23rd. And that's one of the things on the agenda today. So it seemed to me that there's a little bit of retaliation there. And we need to be very, very careful to put our feelings aside. When somebody does the work to make sure that the citizens are taken care of, they should get an attaboy. They should be, I am sorry, evidently I don't know how technology works. And when I spoke with Randy this morning, one of his big concerns now that he's sitting in the hospital with a wife who passed out and hit her head this morning, is that the elimination of his position actually affects his housing. So for those of you who aren't aware, the groundskeeper lives on the fairgrounds property. And that means that Randy's housing situation, as well as his insurance, is at risk. And he's right over there with a wife who may have a traumatic brain injury from what happened this morning. I'm going to say it's probably because of the stress of dealing with everything that they've been dealing with. Now, Randy mentioned to me that a consultant has been put forward to replace him, or as an idea to replace him. But Randy only makes $20,000 a year, and even if you count the small utility advantage that he gets, it's about $26,000 a year. Now, Randy described to me all of the things that he does and that he has to do before and after groups come in, and the amount of mowing is just incredible for that property over there. I would say that he's currently undercompensated. I cannot believe that anybody would work for as little money as he's making. That's literally $400 a week.
Okay,
That's
so your time's up.
Okay, so that's now I can go to Randy's time. So you started again?
Go ahead.
Okay, very good. I can't believe that he works for so little money. So now that his wife is over there, possibly with a traumatic brain injury, she's dealing with this. And let me pull up this photo here so I can read this. So this is what Randy sent over to me to go ahead and read into the record. Hi, my name is Randy Lee. I'm the fairground attendant and have been ever since 2010 to this date. I've never been written up or reprimanded for anything or any kind of disciplinary action. And on August 13th, I received a letter from the Fair Board stating my position would be eliminated as of August 23rd. And that I would have 60 days to remove all my personal belongings. I feel this is an unjust and untimely decision made by the Fair Board. As a county employee, I'm curious on how a non-elected board would have such authority such as this. At this point, I feel that there is more weighing purpose behind this revengeful tactical decision. Do I believe this is a political move? Absolutely, 100% I do. I know there's certain Fair Board members that don't like me, and to top it all off, and the certain authority figures has made me feel insecure in my job. With this coming to a head, on March 3rd, I received a threatening and intimidating phone call from Commissioner Todd Ewan, which led to a state police investigation where 2 other witnesses and Mr. Ewan and myself were interrogated by state police detective, which led to pending intimidation charges. At this time, I feel this is the reasoning behind this latest play and authoritarian tactics. I would like for you all to record this decision, and I believe that Mr. Ewan should be excluded from any decisions pertaining to these topics while these charges are pending. And again, those are Randy's words, not mine, that he sent me over. So, I think it's really clear that as a county, we need to make sure that we hold our politicians accountable and that our politicians come before us with, as I said, radical honesty and complete transparency. I'm on the Plan Commission now, and I invite any member of the public to send me a message, to call me, to send me, DMs, texts, whatever way you feel is the best way to get a hold of me, to not only hold me accountable and make sure that I'm getting you the information that you need, but also to bring the issues before me that fall under the Plan Commission. Now, for those things that don't fall under the Plan Commission, this is a hard thing for me to say because we're sitting here at 9:10 a.m. when most people are at work. And this is another thing that people have complained about over and over is the timing of this particular meeting. And that it should be changed to a time when normal citizens with normal jobs have the ability to come and actually see their representatives in person. So I think I'm probably about up with my time. What I read again were Randy's words, not mine. And I just really hope we can do better as a county. I can't think of anything that is more important than clean water. Can you?
Okay. Has anybody had a chance to read the minutes? Need a motion to approve them?
Yeah, motion to approve the minutes.
August 5th, 2025.
That both of them or just one?
August 5th, 2025.
I second it.
Tony, second. Claims, payroll, any questions? Have a motion?
Motion to approve the claims and payroll.
Second.
I'm sure this is what everybody's here for, wheel tax discussion.
Skipped one on your.
You skipped one.
You skipped one, Phil.
The WTH agreement.
Well, when they get everybody in here. Access for collegiate WTH approval
Core
for the
Logic.
maps. We do it every year. Gives them access to our maps. Anybody got objection to it? Have a motion to accept.
So move.
They didn't hear what you was talking about, Phil.
Okay, I'm sorry. Every year, WTH asks to use our maps that the county pays for, that they use the reference points off of. We always give them consent to use our maps so we don't get an extra charge. And this is just a motion to give them access to the county maps.
I second that motion.
Todd's made a motion. Tony second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, wheel tax.
Yeah, well, I passed out some information about that, which you'll see on the little blue sheet that you have in front of you there. That's from AIM, which is Accelerate Indiana Municipalities. Sorry. Just passed out some information to the council commissioners. You have it there. I have some other copies if anybody wants one after the meeting's over. But it's just a breakdown of what the state is doing with this wheel and vehicle excise tax, which basically states that a town or municipal wheel tax and vehicle excise tax are local options available to any municipality with a population of 5,000 or above. So that is the nuts and bolts of it. If, that's something that, how this all started was the state has said that if you don't have this in place, then your community crossings grants could possibly go away. Now, what the timeline is for that, we're not really for sure. We've made several calls to the state legislators, and it looks like it wouldn't affect 26, but it could affect 27 with those community crossing grants. So it's just a discussion that we needed to have. If it was something that we were going to try to pass, then it would have to be done by September the 1st in order for us to, get that into play for 2026. So mainly this was a discussion I wanted to have with everyone just so that the information was out there and everybody knew, what we were looking at here, or what we may have to do down the road to, to be eligible for those grants. That is something right now, it's just discussion. But like I said, they did put a timeline on it. If you wanted it to kick in for 26, you have to have it passed by September the 1st.
You're talking 27, so we would have plenty of time to do that.
Yep, we'll get to that. Right now, this is just to get the information out to the council commissioners so that everyone knows this is what they're trying to get us to adopt and trying to get us to do.
People know about this first.
Ma'am, I just want to say that this is not an official public comment period. And even during a public comment,
We pay those taxes, so I think that you should be able to have a right to say what we pay for.
and I'm just saying we're going to follow regular procedure. And if this comes to the point where the council has an ordinance in front of it where it is going to actually take a vote, which no vote is happening today, then I believe that it's their intent to take a public comment. But right now, we're not going to let people just shout out during the meetings. And so we're going to just follow normal procedures, let the council and commissioners have their discussion, and then when there's time for a public comment, we'll let everyone know.
Well, I think I could shed a little light on this.
Go right ahead, Rick. You're involved with the community crossings.
Some of the terminology kind of gets confusing, I know, but we deal with community crossings and have for several years, so I think we've got a pretty good feel for it. The state in 2027 will be coming out with a new grant. It's Lane Mile Direct Distribution, referred to as LMDD. That won't affect our community crossings. They're very similar and related, but our eligibility for community crossings won't change and won't in the foreseeable future, at least through '29. This LMDD, you do have to have a wheel tax to be eligible for it. The one thing you have to keep in mind when trying to get that grant, you have a $1 million cap regardless of which grant you go for. Community crossings, the maximum is back down to $1 million. The LMDD is $1 million. You can't get $1 million from each. So if we go like we have been for the last 7-8 years and get $1 million from community crossings, which you do not have to have a wheel tax for, then the LMDD would be useless to us because we would not be able to draw from it. I just want to clarify that. So there is still a way for us to get a $1 million grant, which is the maximum, without having a wheel tax.
Thank you, Rick.
Yeah.
I actually have a question for you. I've read through the bill, and there is some parts in the bill that there's an acronym that states if your county uses this type of surveying of roads, that, is that what you're talking about with the different grant?
The only
It's-
criteria
what is it?
for the, go ahead.
PACER,
Pacer.
PACER, P-A-S-E-R. Is that what you're talking about
We have
there?
to use that for community crossings as well. It's part of your pavement asset management plan.
Okay.
We have to have them surveyed and graded.
Okay,
And also for the LMDD, if we are interested in that, which it's kind of redundant in my opinion, the paperwork shows a conservative estimate of August 31st, 2026 is when we'd need to put that in. So we have a full year before we need to do that, so there's no need to get excited, I don't think.
well, and piggybacking on what you said with the PACER thing, I kind of didn't see the point of it, because to me it seemed redundant to do the wheel tax
Right.
when it looks to me like they're putting stiffer stipulations on how much you're going to get, and harder to get $1 million out of that by implementing the wheel tax, from what I could read online.
You know, if we decide to have
Through
a
the
wheel
bill.
tax, we have a wheel tax, but I just want it to be for the right reasons and everybody understand why we have it.
Okay.
But it's not to qualify for community crossings.
Right. And that was one reason why we wanted to have this discussion today, was to get the information out there to make sure we totally understood.
That's all I've got.
Thanks, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
Thank you, Rick.
So as you all know, with, some of the things that have been coming down from the state level, there's a lot of gray area, and that's why we wanted to get that information out before we get to that point. So, any other comments about it? Sure.
Taxing all vehicles, how about the atomic buggy?
Well, we're not to that point yet where we're passing any kind of tax. I don't disagree with you, but we're not to the point where we're ready to do anything at all. This is not something we're voting on today or that we have to do today, as Rick just mentioned.
And another thing, they could rule out, companies should not be running none of their equipment on the road with metal wheels. They do it all the time, and the cops won't do nothing to them.
Yeah, I'm not sure about I'm not really studied too much about that or how that's handled, but, this was just something. This was just something new that come down from the state that we wanted to get the information out. So that's what the purpose of this was this morning, was to get that out, just to see what we have to do moving forward. So that's kind of what that was for this morning.
If I could.
Sure.
I just want to clear, I don't think anyone wants a wheel tax on this council. It's just, we were considering it if we were going to lose the community crossings grant was the only reason we were even considering it. So I just want to clarify that. It's not that we're wanting the tax, because most people on this board are not wanting to add any extra tax if we, unless we absolutely have to. But the state keeps pushing the majority of this stuff down to the local level, unfortunately, and forcing us to do certain things. But it sounds like, and thank you, Rick, for explaining that maybe we won't have to do that. So we're not wanting to do this, it's just unless we absolutely had to. I guess I just wanted to clarify
There's a lot of incentives to do it.
Right.
Yeah, the bill's very gray, and from what I could tell, it's like if you do it, there's a chance you're not going to get 100% of your pool back, because most of it's going to go to fund the roads in Marion County, which I don't think is fair to the taxpayers of Washington County to implement that to begin with, so.
And that's our consideration. Why should we pass something that we all have to pay that someone else benefits from? That is not what this council wants to do for the taxpayers of Washington County.
Nope, not at all. We just wanted to get that information out. Like I said, after the meeting, anybody's welcome. We can give you this paper come down. It's, it was on their website, so we can give those out to you. So it kind of explains a little bit about it. But like I said, there's a lot of gray. It wasn't our intent to come in here this morning and pass a wheel tax. That's the last thing we want to do. But we also want to make sure that we have good roads. So with Rick's help, we've been able to secure these community crossing grants over the years, and it's really helped us out here in Washington County with the miles of roads that we have. Without that, Rick, how many miles of road would we not be able to pave if we?
We crossed the 100-mile mark of community crossing paved.
Right. So, yeah, this was just to get that information out, but like Todd said, it's not something we definitely want to do. It was just something we needed to get the information out to everyone so that they had it. So that's kind of where we're at this morning. Commissioners, do you have any questions on that? I give you the paper.
No, I appreciate what you said. I appreciate what Rick said, because this was the fear we all had. It was, everything's being shoved down. I've talked to surrounding counties. They're having the same thing. Talked to Crawford County yesterday. They was in the fear. Clark County, I think, is talking about passing something, but they're calling it something else. But there's a lot of confusion right now, and like everybody's agreed, none of us want to pay more taxes. But we definitely don't want to lose any more than we have to keep the upkeep of our roads. So I appreciate you guys coming in here, and it will be your decision, but we have to be involved too. But trying to find out, nobody seems to know on this of what is happening. So I appreciate all your due diligence of doing it.
And also on top of that, Phil, for transparency for our taxpayers and people that are here, you mentioned they were calling it something else. There's other people calling it a user fee instead of a wheel tax, so that kind of disguises that. So when you have all these gray areas and we'll use this verbiage instead of this, that just has raised cause for concern from all of us. So just to be transparent, Lucy, so you guys all understand that and everybody out there, okay?
Thanks for the clarification, Rick.
Don, you have anything?
Yes, I'd like to echo what Mr. Armstrong said. Don't want anybody to get the impression that anybody wants to raise taxes. I think we're taxed to death the way it is, but this is being forced upon us. The state gives with one hand and they take with another, and it seems like they are putting a lot of this burden back on the counties. So their coffers look better, so their bottom line looks better. But that's really nothing we can do about that except complain to our state legislators. I would like to take the liberty to answer this gentleman's question back here about the horse-drawn vehicle fees. Currently, they're $67.50 a year is what
Yeah,
they...
but half of them ain't fitting no tags on their buggy, and half of them got 5 or 6 buggies, and they just switch tags from one buggy to another. none of us.
That could very well happen. That comes down to enforcement, so I'm not going to get into that. But that's how much it is, $67.50.
And for anyone out there who wants to know the House bill that the wheel tax stuff is being discussed in, I encourage everyone to read it. It's boring, but it's informative. It's House Bill 1461.08.
Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Anyone else? All right. You can move forward with
Thank
your
you.
agenda.
Okay. Elimination of groundskeeper position.
Board, I just want to clarify and point out that there is a memorandum of understanding between the commissioners and the Washington County Farmers and Merchant Fair, Inc. Fair Board that allows for the county to hire a groundskeeper to assist the fairgrounds, but the Fair Board ultimately had the control over that groundskeeper's daily activities and decisions regarding its employment, including retention, up to and including termination.
So my understanding is they're going to change the structure of the fair. Am I understanding that right? Subcontracted out?
Yeah, that's the intention. Nobody likes it when a position is eliminated. It's basically their decision. We have to honor their decision. Everyone on the Fair Board, they work very hard to try to maintain the fairgrounds. They are not compensated in any way, shape, or form, and it's getting harder and harder to find people to serve. So this is their decision. We have to honor their wishes. And based on that, I'll make a motion to eliminate the groundskeeper's position.
I got a question. Who's gonna pay the difference? Or is there a difference between what we pay the groundskeeper now versus the subbing it out and all that?
Yeah, we stand to save probably close to $10,000.
Where'd them numbers come from, may I ask?
Where did they come from?
Yeah, I mean, I've never seen none of the numbers or nothing. I think this needs to be more, if we're gonna put the bill, then we need to more thoroughly investigate that.
The mowing aspect is probably going to cost the county $20,000 a year. That's mowing, weed eating, spraying, and
Where's these numbers coming from?
The mowing was already included in the MOU. That's separate from the groundskeeper, right? So the county.
We take care of that.
Right, the county has always provided the
Chemicals,
mowing,
mowing.
not the groundskeeper, correct?
So you're saying that the county's gotta continue paying that, or how's that gonna work?
Mowing is part of the MOU. That is the responsibility of the county. That's not changing.
Well, I think before we decide on this, we need some hard numbers or whatnot. I mean, we got the council members sitting here, they're the ones paying for it, so.
You're gonna get the ground maintenance at that place for $20,000 a year.
I own a landscaping company, I wouldn't do it.
I mean, just seriously, I used to run a lawn care business. There's no way for $20,000 a year to take care of that property.
Sounds like retaliation.
So you all need just to make a motion?
motion's on the floor.
You just need to.
Has,
You need a second and then discussion and vote.
Okay, did you make a motion?
There was a
I made a motion.
by Mr. Ewan. This is not a time for public comment. This is the business of the commissioners.
I'll second his motion on doing it to subcontract it out. We've all
So now we can discuss it once it's properly moved and seconded. I mean, I know Brad's over there with his mouth open. I would sure like to hear his opinion.
Is it okay if the council asks a question?
can the council ask a question? Have we got quotes from new contractors? Did the Fair Board turn that over?
That's what I'm asking.
Verbal.
verbal?
This year, Rick, clarification, did the county not have to go over and mow and spray this year?
We do brush cut over there. We're limited on what we can do due to the MVH restricted funds. But we do go over for the fair and stuff and knock out the big.
Right, and help out. But it's been getting harder and harder every year to get the fair put on. And this year, we had another thing. We had the state fire marshal come in. A lot of stuff that hadn't been corrected over the years had to be made up so that we could put the fair on. We've had to fight with that this year.
Yeah, I don't believe that was a problem with the groundskeeper's job.
If somebody is overseeing a facility, and you see something needs to be corrected, it should have been corrected before now.
Well, I'm
That's one reason-
limited on what I can
That's one
say
reason we're
here.
paying extra expense to run this county. Things have been overlooked.
I agree.
Now, and this being said right now, I have to agree, I think subcontracting out can come out cheaper for us than trying to do what we're doing.
With that hard numbers, I disagree with you.
So, I have a question. Since this council is the one that, funds that, so we give them $30,000 separate from the groundskeeper's salary.
Right.
So, two questions for you. Are you saying that this contracting is gonna come out of that $30,000
No.
we give the fair board?
No,
So we're still gonna pay,
yes.
just gonna pay a different amount from, it's gonna change where the groundskeeper's money is now, you guys wanna put it to this subcontracting, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
My second question is, since this is a county position and it was funded by the last council last year through December 31st, and so we're not spending any extra money, so why does this position have to be eliminated now and not at the end of the year when the funding for it runs out? And us as a council who decides where the money is spent, then either does not fund that position or make a
To give
decision
him
from
an
that.
opportunity before winter to have time to remove his personal items.
We couldn't hear you, Todd.
To give Mr. Lee plenty of time before winter to remove his personal items is what the Fair Board had stated.
I stated 60 days. I seen the agreement, or the.
I'm going to piggyback off of
myself.
what Brad just said there, so I guess I'm confused too, because if we have budget hearings next week, and let's say that we're presented with contracts showing how much it's going to cost us, and we as a council decide to eliminate that position, wouldn't he still have ample time to move, and if they decide not to fund it next year? Because, I mean, we're meeting tomorrow on budget hearings for next year's budget. I guess I'm kind of piggybacking off of what he's saying to say I kind of get where he's coming with that. He'd still have ample time if we decide not to refund it next year, but that gives them time to bring us quotes to say, hey, is it going to be cheaper or not?
We already know it will be cheaper. Because
Well, I'm gonna pull a Phil and Todd right here. I'm gonna make a motion to table this until the next meeting where we can do
There's a motion.
investigation
There's a
on it. Will y'all table stuff all the time on me?
there's a motion on the floor. Can't have two motions on the floor at the same time, I'm sorry.
And do the right thing on the floor. Philip, can you take back your first motion and then
Do-
table it?
We have a motion and a second.
No, I will table it, just
Thank you,
to
Phil.
appease everybody else. But the standpoint is,
Thank you, Philip.
wherever we can save money, I'm out to do.
Motion.
And to be honest with you, in all fairness, I don't feel like you'll probably get the satisfaction of the work to be completed. And I think we will be throwing this money away from, if we wait till the end of the year. And like Todd said, he will have time to get his facilities straightened out. And I don't know for sure what the Fair Board, I haven't seen any proposal out of the Fair Board as the actual play that needs to come into. I do have a few questions myself of who, and this is something that needs to be addressed to the Fair Board of how they plan on doing this. Now, am I going to pay somebody to do something that I don't feel like will get done? This year, and back when Rick Roberts was in as a commissioner, he jumped me quite a few times that the grounds wasn't being addressed. Spraying wasn't being done, mowing and weed eating wasn't being done. Now, I'm all in favor of paying somebody to do a job, and I'm not going to get into personnel matters. But we are here to conserve and save money. We haven't tried to hide like everybody goes on about. We've discussed water, which is not our business. That's a city. And in this case, there's other things that have to be done. I haven't seen a full report from the Fair Board yet. I don't know who's going to maintain the buildings. I don't know what their plan is. I know what I'm hearing, but I haven't been addressed. I will table it for another month to get some further discussion of what's being done.
Motion and a second, and so there'll be a vote to pass or to not.
Can there be a special time and meeting to where the citizens of Washington County can?
Not opposed to that. We've tried night meetings, nobody shows up.
When's the last time you did that?
But yes, to answer you have a motion.
And there's a second, so now there needs to be a vote if you're finished with your discussion.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Aye. Opposed, aye.
Oh, aye. Okay?
Yep.
And we will set a meeting. You'll be advised.
Will we as a council have quotes
Do what?
for the groundskeeping stuff so we can
Sorry.
put it in our budget? Will we get quotes by the time we go over the budget in the next 3 days?
I think we're going to we've got some numbers,
Okay,
and that's what I think Todd based it on.
okay.
I don't know what the whole plan of the Fair Board is. I haven't talked to
I
them.
just thought it would be nice if we knew what our bottom line was going to be for
I'll try
that
to get 'em
fund,
for you.
so.
See, this is questions I asked when this all come about, and I got pushed aside. And it gets keeping told to me that don't want to keep going in circles here, but fill me in on the information, and then this crap won't happen.
Okay.
You got bids, right? There has to be an RFQ on that.
What do you say? Do what? I don't know. I didn't. Where'd it come from? I didn't hear it.
Does there have to be an RFQ on that?
Is there a bid notice, RFP, request for proposal, and bid notice, and lowest bidder and all that?
We're done.
We'll have to see what we got here. I mean, I can't make it that.
They already got a bid or a quote, so what's, I mean.
Rick, I'm asking you to come forward. Rick? I'm gonna do some investigation. I can't believe you
Thank you, Phil, because I 100% agree with you. That's what I was pushing for.
motion to adjourn.
Clear back here.
Rhett, if you come sit in my lap,
I'm always the scapegoat. What we got? Bring it on.
No, what do you got? Where we at on blacktopping?
Community crossings, we're probably nearing the halfway point. We're doing a little skip patching county-wise. We're finished with the county paving. Well, I take that back. We do have one road we skipped over because of some construction, but county paving is pretty well wrapped up. The crews are mowing and spraying, and we're starting to ditch for next year's community crossings roads. Everything else is going pretty well business as usual. Thought she was going to try to talk me into mowing. I was getting nervous.
Thank you, Rick.
Yep.
Paul Eckert.
Can I ask one quick question? I know there's no public comment. I know a lot of people want to make statements. So I appreciate you made the comment that possibly you have a public meeting or roundtable for this later. So I think that will, I understand there's formal rules to speak at these meetings and I'm not on the agenda. My only question is, and it's me personally, individually, I'm Tara Hunt, not as the prosecutor. My question as far as contracts or potential bids for the groundskeeper and where the money might lie, of course we all want initially, best and chief doesn't always go together, but best for the county. What I'd like to also ask that the Fair Board put together something as far as if the situation the groundskeeper is eliminated? Will there be surveillance in that area? Because there's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of RVs and boats and things that people pay well for to store all winter long, myself and my husband included. And that's one thing of having a groundskeeper on site that I know as a prosecutor keeps individuals away. So that's another thing I'm like, if this does go down the road to where the Fair Board ultimately gives contracts and says they want to contract us out, I would like to know, or that question from the community, because I've had these same questions asked of me, what's the surveillance going to be like? What's the protections made for potential people or getting into the barns? Because some of those are, of course, open all the time. So that's just a request I'd ask.
If you remember, that's one of the reasons this was done this way back when this first started. We did have break-ins up there, and at that point, it was decided the city couldn't patrol it. At the time, we didn't have access to projectors or cameras over it, and it was decided probably about 2 years after I was in, about 10 years ago, that the best thing might be to put a personnel up there. But as you've seen, we've had other problems that go on, and I agree with you. And that will be taken into consideration, all things will.
Thank you.
Thank you. That being said, Paul Eckert.
His face is already red, look at that. I said his face is already red, look at that.
Good morning.
Morning.
Quick update for you on the garage. The office building, it's ready for metal on the inside, and then continue on the rough end, trying to get the same contractors working on the mechanics garage to try to get that knocked out by the end of the week here. If you've been by the job site, you've seen the mechanics garage start up. They've got a lot of the metal on roof, siding, downspouts, gutters are coming in this week. They should be done framing that by the end of the week completely, and then we'll turn it over to the subcontractors on the inside. Mother Nature's been pretty good to us, so we're probably going to install the septic next week. All the materials are there on site for that installation. And currently the electrician, he is doing the underground rough end for the electric and the fiber optic lines. He will probably be there till the end of the week doing that, backfilling all the trenches with gravel. And we did meet with Duke to discuss all that to make sure everything was proper for them to arrive. We do have a couple work orders in with Duke, so I'm just waiting for that phone call to say, hey, we're ready. So.
What about the, you say the electric's there now?
The conduits are being put in right now.
Okay.
We met with Duke Energy out there, I think 2 weeks ago, to discuss it all, make sure everything is going to be proper on their end. We've got the work orders in with Duke right now. I'm just waiting for the phone call for them to say they're going to hook it up.
Is the fuel tanks in?
Fuel tanks are in.
Not the tanks, but the pumps?
No, the pumps are not in. I've talked to him and told him about mid-September to come back and get everything restarted, I guess.
What about the salt shed?
The same contractor that's doing the mechanics garage, when he gets done, he'll probably have a break in there of maybe a week or so, and then he'll come back and do the mixed salt and salt building.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I see there's some rebar up. Is that going to be poured now, or is that going to be in a holding pattern?
We're on a little holding pattern on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And we got the 2 aggregate bins in that will house the sand and the, I want to say 11s or 12s that you all mix with it. So we got that ready for you all.
Is the ballast rock going to be stored anywhere around that, or is it going to be put someplace else, or what, Rick?
We'll have some riprap 53s.
Okay. Okay. Hurry.
Thank you.
They said this morning winter's coming next week.
No.
But not today.
Thank you.
Thank you. April? Nothing? Camera? Todd?
I'm good.
Tony?
Done spoke my piece.
Need a motion for adjournment.
I make that motion to adjourn.
Tony made a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion to adjourn council meeting.
Second.
Andrew, second by Karen. All those in favor, right hand. Thank you. Adjourn.
Lisa?